Needless to say, I keep in check. She was a bad nevertheless. Dude, ain't you supposed to be making a video right now? Oh, I am, huh? What should it be about? I mean, I did just watch the Miles Morales movie. Maybe I should do something with that. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to What If Naruto Had Miles Morales' Powers. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the entire story of what I think would personally happen in the Narutoverse if Naruto had spider-like abilities and also had a couple of extra things sprinkled in there. If you guys go on to enjoy today's video, then definitely make sure to smash that like button, seeing as it'll help the video do a ton better in the YouTube algorithm, and I'll love you to death. So what are you waiting for? Smash that like button, and so let's get started.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
After having a pretty fat break of not using my brain and just being able to just spit what ifs that aren't even made by me and are actually fanfics, I feel so unbelievably refreshed. Like, I feel like I can come up with such a banger idea without even trying. So that's why today's video is going to be absolutely unscripted, and I'm not going to be trying to do nothing crazy. It's just going to be so raw. And hopefully you guys like my take on what if Naruto was Miles Morales. All right, so where should I start this what if off? I'm thinking to myself that the way that I should start this one off would be something along the lines of Orochimaru. Now, the spider that's going to be biting Naruto needs to be created somehow, am I right? So I'm going to be saying that Orochimaru, before he actually ended up fleeing the village, would have ended up working on a project. Now this project would ended up pretty much just being trying to merge the DNAs of Senjus, Uchihas, and pretty much just overpowered clans, trying to merge the DNA of Uzumakis and Uchihas and Senjus, and trying to give the abilities of each clan, like their innate strength, their innate like high chakra reserves, their innate strange Kikigenkais, their strange abilities in it of itself. And long ago, there even used to be a clan that had so much strength, so much speed, and had this strange awareness Kikigenkai that got lost due to time. It was a really old clan, but Orochimaru has been digging through some things and ended up finding it. Now let's just say that clan had abilities very similar to Spider-Man, but not exactly that powerful. However, he then ended up deciding to working on just, making some strange serum and stuff, and ultimately when he tried to use it on humans, it just failed every single time. Now let's just say that Orochimaru, around this time that he was working on this, would have just been found out by Hiruzen, and Hiruzen was just about to kick him out of the village. However, before Hiruzen could kick him out, Orochimaru ended up breaking the vial that contained all of the information he had been researching on. That vial would end up dropping on the floor, Orochimaru would disappear, and Hiruzen would just watch as Orochimaru leaves the building and would exit Konoha, not being able to hurt his student, the student he raised and he trained up since he was a small child. And so what pretty much ends up happening is that serum would just stay there for about a week, just remaining there until suddenly a small spider would end up crawling towards its direction, ingesting the strange serum which was in the syringe. And so the spider would then begin to morph. This spider would then begin to turn into just this strange looking spider. Obviously, like if you get a close-up on it, it looks really weird, and it's pretty much going to be having all of the abilities of Miles Morales, which is like the basic ones, which is electricity, invisibility, the Spider-Man powers, the spider senses, the abilities of also the Naruto world characters like the Senju, and even a dojutsu such as the Uchiha's Sharingan, since that's what Orochimaru was also messing with. Now, the spider was able to intake all of its properties, and what Orochimaru didn't account for was testing on animals, insects. He had tested on animals, but he never tested on insects. But this spider, this miracle spider, was the one thing that finally worked, and Orochimaru won't even be aware of this. He's straight gonna find out some other day when Naruto ends up running the ones with him. But for now, Orochimaru has no clue that the spider exists. Orochimaru has no clue that his invention actually worked, and the spider's just roaming around Konoha, right? Now, let's just say that the spider in and of itself would roam around, live a normal life. It eats bugs, it eats like flies and everything. And it's a very, very powerful spider. But for normal people, they can obviously just crush it. So the spider doesn't exactly like do nothing too crazy or special, but it definitely is an apex predator in the spider world. Regardless of that, one day Naruto would be about 5 years old when 5 years old is kind of young, but I don't know how long the spider can live for. Let's say, because I don't want the spider to have offsprings, because we know that spiders have like tons of them. So then theoretically the whole village could possibly get bitten by it. And then it would be, what if Konoha had Miles Morales' powers, which would be a little broken. So I'm going to be saying that when Naruto is 5 years old, he's actually going to be getting bitten by the spider right on his hand. But because of Naruto random BS lore, we're going to be saying that the abilities don't tap into him because he has chakra or something like that. In a couple years. So let's say that they finally like tap in when he's like 11 years old, right? He's 11 years old, and that's barely when the abilities of this spider are finally going to transfuse into Naruto. So Naruto gets bit by a spider, thinks nothing of it, nothing changes at all, and the powers kind of stay dormant, kind of like how Miles Morales was, where he never really took a leap of faith. And so we're going to be saying that the powers would actually end up being awakened when Naruto would be getting chased away by the villagers. It would be on Naruto's 11th birthday, and Naruto would be getting so close to trying to graduate at the academy. But essentially what would end up actually happening is that Naruto's getting chased by villagers. It's his birthday. They're calling him a demon, and they're saying that he's a garbage person, yada yada yada. Naruto doesn't like it. He's trying to run away, but ultimately they're making it very, very hard for Naruto. And eventually he would run up to the top of a mountain where Naruto would be cornered, and he would have to look down only to see water, and then turn around seeing the villagers coming at him, and even a couple of shinobis who want to get even with Naruto for killing some of their family members, their brothers, their loved ones, their sisters, their fathers, their mothers. And Naruto's scared. He's like, what did I do? Like, I literally didn't do anything. I did do nothing to deserve this. And you guys are always like tears would be coming down his head as he just looks down at the direction of the water and jumps off with a leap of faith. And Naruto, subconsciously sticking one hand out, would shoot a web, grabbing it mid-air, as he would then swing towards the direction of another hilltop of a mountain and land, with all the villagers who were there watching in complete shock, being like, the demon is growing in power. We have to kill him. And they would try to run towards the direction of Naruto, but Naruto, now having done that, would be like, how did I? But before he even realizes it, he would turn invisible and begin running towards the direction of the village, right? Running as fast as he can, not knowing he's invisible, but he would realize that nobody's giving him dirty looks for once. And that would be because nobody can see him, which is interesting considering that Naruto thought that he couldn't become invisible. But when he enters his house and he looks in his mirror, he sees himself and he's invisible. It's incredible. How is he invisible, he would think. But he has absolutely no time to think about this. And so what Naruto pretty much ends up doing is just like going to sleep, locking his doors, barricading his windows, and trying to hope that none of the villagers mess with him. The next day would come around, and Naruto would be happy knowing that that's finally over with, and that he doesn't have to deal with the villagers for once and for all. Naruto from here ends up looking outside of his window and thinking to himself if it would even be safe for him to go out, considering he does have a day at the academy today. He decides he's gonna do so regardless, and so he would make his way towards the academy, where Iruka would be there waiting for him. And what would pretty much end up happening is that Naruto gets there late. Naruto would get a mouthful from Iruka, but following this, the day would go forward like usual until finally the end of the day would arrive, where they're gonna be having sparring, and Naruto would get matched up against Sasuke Uchiha. What a surprise. But as soon as the battle would be called, Naruto, realizing that he has all these strange abilities, would look to Sasuke and turn invisible as soon as the match starts. And Iruka would be like, Naruto, where did you? But before he realizes this, Sasuke would get punched straight in the face and would get sent flying out of the circle, with Sasuke getting up in shock and Naruto turning off his invisibility, saying, looks like I got you, Sasuke. And Sasuke gets angry, being like, that was a cheap trick. Like, how did you do that? And Naruto would say, Keiki Genkai. As he would look towards the direction of Iruka, and with a smile on his face, he would rush towards the direction of his house and ultimately go eat ramen, as he would go to the training grounds and train. Ultimately, then being called up by an Anbu to tell him to meet Hiruzen in his office. Now, Hiruzen would call him because Hiruzen wants to know exactly what these abilities are, and a whole entire like talk would be had in which Naruto describes to him that he doesn't know. It's probably just Kikigenkai, right? Something that Iruka explained in the classroom, just like how Sasuke is gonna have the Sharingan someday. Maybe that's what that is. And Naruto looks at Hiruzen, you know, he's kind of like feeling these different mixed emotions. And ultimately, you know, Hiruzen looks at him with just this feeling of like joy, like, wow, Naruto has all these powerful abilities. You know, he's happy, he's proud. And Naruto, seeing that Hiruzen's proud of him, would feel so much joy that Naruto would be like, yeah. And you know, he's just happy, bro. Like, until ultimately Naruto's eyes would both change instantly. Naruto unlocking the Sharingan right before Hiruzen's very eyes, as Hiruzen would look at Naruto and would be like, okay, Naruto, this is freaky. How do you have all of these abilities? Naruto would be like, I don't know. And Hiruzen would look at him before saying, come with me. They make their way towards a private training grounds, and Hiruzen gets rid of all of his Anbu before he then tells Naruto to start training with him. That every day for the next year, he's going to be training with Naruto in secret, and that Naruto's going to be having to try to use this training that Hiruzen's going to give him to the best of his advantage. So now, for the next like 1 year before the academy students would graduate, Naruto's going to be put under the wing of Hiruzen because of the fact that Naruto has all of these strange abilities that he would show. During this time, Naruto would show a showcase of so many strange abilities, and just to make sure that I have all of the Miles Morales powers correct, I just quickly want to look it up on my phone real quick. See if I have them all perfectly right. You know what I mean? And let's see. Hold on, let me take my girl back. And then anyways, okay, Miles Morales powers. Let's look it up. Miles Morales powers. Hopefully they're not too many to list off. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so Miles Morales, what are his abilities? Come on, bro. Oh, there. So he has superhuman strength, speed, ability, reflexes, ability to cling onto solid surfaces, camouflage, venom, electric energy, precognitive spider sense, resistance to injury, and web shooters. Obviously, Miles Morales has web shooters, but this one I'm gonna make this Naruto just shoot it out of his wrist, right? But yeah, I basically already said all the powers, but just to be sure, I had to look it up. But anyways, continuing on with the story, during this time, Naruto would work on all of these abilities and his camouflage and stuff like that. And Naruto would also work on his wood style, considering that Naruto has access to that as well as the Sharingan. And because Naruto was training with Hiruzen, I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna split the difference, and I'm gonna say that he has 3 Tomoe Sharingan in his left eye, 2 Tomoe Sharingan in his right eye. And that's what Naruto's rocking with. But Naruto doesn't whip out the Sharingan in front of nobody, and he hasn't even addressed it yet, considering that he doesn't want anybody to know of that ability. He would have used the Sharingan to help him out with his training so much, considering that the Sharingan can copy jutsu, and we saw how much progress Sasuke was able to make just off of copying Rock Lee's movements. It was absolutely insane. So let's use that same premise to say that Hiruzen would teach Naruto about how to use, you know, wood style, considering that his sensei was Hashirama. I'm so dumb. I don't know why I said Hiroshima. But basically, you know, as we all know, Hashirama was Hiruzen's sensei, so it only makes sense that he would know exactly how to kind of use it. He would teach Naruto a couple of hand signs that he would regularly see Hashirama using, and Naruto, using these very same hand signs, would end up learning and training alongside Hiruzen, getting stronger and stronger by the day, by the second, by the hour, right? Naruto gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and ultimately by the time that this year would be over, he would be at proficient levels at using all of his spider abilities. He's using his spidey senses, using chakra molding on higher level jutsus, and would even have access to the multi-shadow clone jutsu, seeing as Hiruzen realized that Naruto had a hard time performing low chakra jutsus because of the fact that he had so much of it that it was so hard to mold just a small amount. So Hiruzen got the idea, hey, maybe if I give Naruto high level chakra jutsus, like a bunch of chakra, then maybe Naruto would have an easier time doing that. Realizing that that was the case, Hiruzen would be proud and would end up showing Naruto a bunch of those kinds of jutsus. And Naruto, using all of this in tandem with learning from Hiruzen, would end up getting a base understanding of wood style, and would get to 2 and 3 Tomoe, as I said, as well as would get very OP when it comes to his spider senses and stuff like that, and his electric powers, invisibility, and overall just normal abilities. When it comes to his taijutsu proficiency, Naruto would have at minimum Anbu levels of taijutsu proficiency, so definitely better than Sasuke, but not better than Kakashi, right? But continuing on with the story, we would finally make it to the end of the exam, and Naruto would end up passing. However, Mizuki, who would end up grading all of the papers, would fail Naruto and tell him that if he wants to truly pass, he needs to take the secret portion of the genin exam, which is essentially to steal the scroll of sealing. Now, Naruto, having trained under Hiruzen for all this time, is not dumb anymore, and he would easily be able to see through Mizuki's deception and lies, easily being able to be like, alright, I know he's lying, but I guess I'll just play along. He would tell Hiruzen about this, taking the real scroll, and Hiruzen would watch him from his crystal ball. And Naruto would have his first C-rank mission, taking out Mizuki, a rogue nin of Konoha, and turning him into Ibiki. Naruto would end up being in the forest when all of a sudden Mizuki would arrive and would be like, Naruto, it looks like you were able to actually do it. Hand over the scroll, Naruto. Naruto looked at the direction of Mizuki and would be like, hey, so now that I have this, can I have my headband? And Mizuki would be like, sure, Naruto, going on to grab a kunai from his back pocket, trying to slash at Naruto's throat, but Naruto would catch it with one arm and would pretty much go on to punch Mizuki, uppercutting him and sending Mizuki flying through 2 trees. Mizuki would be completely knocked out and would be like just coughing up blood and would utter how before getting knocked out, obviously. And then Naruto grabs his body and straight takes him to Ibiki, with Mizuki, once he wakes up remembering everything, being just shocked at the levels of strength that Naruto had. Naruto punched him through 2 trees, mind you, bro. That is more physical strength. That is on par with physical strength level of like Sakura, bro. That's how strong Naruto is without molding chakra or doing any of that crazy stuff. Naruto just straight punched Mizuki and sent him flying through 2 trees, mind you. Two, not 1, 2. But yeah, but that's besides the point. Continuing on with the story, we then find ourselves at the academy the next day when all of the teams are picked, and Naruto obviously would end up being picked on a team 7. Now his teammates are still going to be Sakura, Sasuke, and they still end up having to wait for Kakashi, which ultimately leads them to being told about the bell test tomorrow morning, not to eat. But Naruto, he's a little smarter than everybody else is, considering he has been training with Hiruzen, and not only that, but Naruto was given Hiruzen the greatest gift ever. Naruto one of these days would have ended up asking Hiruzen why he doesn't just use shadow clones when it comes to doing his paperwork, considering that shadow clones could do the work just as well for him, and he could probably, just pick off from there and just look over the work and make sure that it's fine. Hiruzen, realizing this, would start using them, and he would be like, bro, Naruto, bro, do you want to become the Hokage right now or later? And Naruto laughs, knowing that he's joking, obviously, but it would be kind of a funny thing considering that Naruto just kind of blew Hiruzen's mind. He truly never thought about doing that ever. But ultimately, I digress. Jumping into the day of the bell test, Naruto would be one of the first people to get there last, considering that Hiruzen told him that Kakashi, he gets there last a lot. So Naruto would have gotten there about 3 hours late and still would have got there before Kakashi. Kakashi would have ended up arriving 30 minutes later, and when he got there, he would make some BS excuse saying that a black cat crossed his path, so he had to take the long way. Suddenly, he would then get serious and begin explaining the rules of the bell test, being like, okay, so anyways, the bell test. And then suddenly after that happens, we end up getting a scenario in which Naruto looks to Kakashi and would ultimately just be like, all right, so just capture the bells and we win. And that means this is going to be a 2-3 person squad. You're funny, Kakashi. There's never in the history of ninjas been a 3-person squad in Konoha. So either you're lying or there's a trick to this test. And after saying that, Sasuke and Sakura would both think about that. And as soon as Kakashi would say 3, 2, 1, Naruto immediately goes invisible and would appear right next to Sasuke, being like, Sasuke, listen to me. This test is all about teamwork. Never in the history of ninjas has there ever been a 3-man squad. He's testing us, trying to see if we can work with each other, and those 2 bells are ultimately meant to make us work against each other. work with me, and Sakura, I guess you can just like be in the background and throw kunais or something. But I think, Sasuke, that if you jump in, use a fire style, and then you clobber him with taijutsu, when he ultimately substitutes, I can come in using my invisibility and hit him with a lightning attack that I've been working on for a while. And Sasuke would be like, all right, fine, Naruto, but if this plan fails, then you follow my lead. And Naruto says, I mean, got it, bro. As from here, they both end up carrying out the plan, and Kakashi would end up getting absolutely tagged by Naruto, considering that he couldn't see him, until he ended up activating his Sharingan after he ends up getting tagged by the electricity. But Naruto, noticing that Kakashi's Sharingan would be active, would be like, that's no fair. You're using the Sharingan against us. We're genin. How are you expected to be a Jonin and you need that ability to beat us? And Kakashi would jump back and say that the ninja life isn't fair, to deal with it. And from here, Kakashi begins rushing at Naruto when Naruto suddenly activates his Sharingan, and Kakashi would realize this considering he has one active. Naruto uses a wood style dome prison jutsu and would trap Kakashi inside of it, a wood style that can drain his chakra, and Kakashi, seeing as he has low chakra reserves, will begin getting drained rapidly, trying to find an exit until ultimately using a substitution jutsu. Since his chakra is running out rapidly, he would substitute out of there, and Naruto would end up being the one who gets substituted in his place. Naruto ends up using a quick lightning ability to just smash the dome, and so would look at Kakashi, who's more than drained of chakra, and would tell Sasuke, Sasuke, now! Sasuke using a fire style as Naruto would throw shuriken at the direction of Kakashi, and Sakura would be like, take this, throwing a lace shuriken that explodes right in Kakashi's face. And Kakashi would get blown to Kingdom Come as bro would land on the ground and would be like, all right, they pass. As you know, he wakes up a couple of hours later and Team 7 would be over him, with him being the one who's tied to the pole, and all three of them eating their lunches, enjoying it peacefully. Suddenly, Kakashi looks at them as he wakes up and tells them that if he's being honest, he didn't think they were going to have what it takes to be a team. But seeing as they passed the test, he now considers them to be the official Team 7 of Konoha, and tells them that they're now officially genin. And from here, all of them will smirk as they're like, we should go celebrate, Naruto would say. And Sakura would be like, yeah, I'm down. And Sasuke would be like, whatever. You know, being an emo like usual, right? Suddenly, we would end up seeing them, all three of them, just walk away, with Kakashi still being tied to the stump, being like, hey, hey, hey. And ultimately, you know, Sasuke turns around and he would be like, you're a Jonin, get unstuck yourself. Kakashi sighs and would be like, it's gonna take up some chakra. And he would get himself out of there, but afterwards they would all go eat at Ichiraku Ramen, where Naruto would easily be welcome, and the food for him would be on the house. Not for the rest of them, but just for him. Or at least just 2 bowls of ramen, right? Naruto enjoys his food, and following this would end up going towards the direction of the absolute legend. Bro, why am I stuttering? The absolute legend Hiruzen, right? Making his way towards his office, he tells Hiruzen that test was the easiest thing he's ever taken. And he would be like, that's our sensei? Like, he's always late. He sat there and read the same pervy book that you often read. And not to mention, I was able to beat him with the help of Sasuke. That's the guy you expect to lead me? Why don't you be my team captain? And Hiruzen's like, you know I can't do that, Naruto. As the Hokage, there's no way I could potentially be a team captain for anybody. That's just not something that people do, right? Naruto would be like, yeah, whatever, old man. As from here, he'd be like, but just know, I'm gonna be climbing through these ranks awfully fast. You'll see, old man. And Hiruzen would say, you know what, Naruto? I'm sure you will. From here, we jump towards a different scenario after a 2-week time skip, with Naruto being like, Hiruzen, old man, come on, give us a better mission. You know I'm more than capable enough to handle a C rank. I mean, I literally did one before I even graduated the academy. And hearing this, Sasuke would be like, what? Naruto? And, you know, Kakashi just looks at the direction of Hiruzen and would just be thinking to himself, Naruto did that? Before wondering to himself if Hiruzen's really gonna let them. And so Hiruzen would knock signal to his Anbu as he would tell them to bring in Tazuna, and from here a man by the name of Tazuna walks inside. As following this, Kakashi would be shocked at the old drunken man that would walk in slurring his words, and ultimately they would be given the mission of protecting the bridge builder. The situation goes just like it does in canon. Tazuna would be eerily disrespectful to the team, and everybody's kind of like, this is our mission. But ultimately, having the chance to exit the village for the first time, they all gladly accept, with the exception of Kakashi, who would just be looking at it as another mission. And so they would meet each other at the village gate the next day. Now, when they're at said village gate, they would end up just kind of relaxing, you know what I mean? Like they're there and they're just walking. Kakashi would be like, keep your guards up. And Naruto would just continue on with the walk, thinking to himself that it's going to be an easy mission, nothing crazy, just simple, am I right? And so what pretty much ends up happening is that it is simple, but 30 minutes into it, Naruto notices a puddle. And let's just say Naruto's not dumb. So the second that he would see Kakashi get quote unquote killed, Naruto would be like, Kakashi, seriously? Whatever. And one of the demon brothers rushes at him, but Naruto, easily using his abilities of electrocution, would just hold onto the face of one of the brothers and just shock him straight up, palming him by the face, as the brother would start screaming out in pain, being like, ah, ah, and Naruto would knock him out, leaving Sasuke to knock out the other demon brother, and Kakashi to end up appearing, being like, I'm impressed. You two definitely have the qualities and capabilities of a Chunin, actually, not just a genin. And from here, both of them continue on with the mission, with Sasuke feeling very proud of himself. About 2 hours later, they would be walking through a very, very foggy place, which Tazuna would be like, it's never this foggy, it's weird. And suddenly, we would hear Kakashi be like, everyone dodge! As everybody does so, and suddenly, a man would appear on top of a sword, as he would say, Kakashi Hatake. And Kakashi would look back at him and be like, Zabuza Momoichi, I never thought I'd be meeting you here. And Zabuza would say, yeah, well, it looks like destiny's brought us together. Now hand over the bridge builder or die. This would immediately commence an all-out battle between Kakashi and Zabuza, which would be eerily similar to the one that we do end up getting in canon. And as soon as the battle would start, it would basically abruptly end with Kakashi still getting trapped in the water prison jutsu. Now Zabuza, holding on to Naruto, would immediately hold out the hand sign for the shadow clone jutsu, having a bunch of clones rush at the direction of Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, and Tazuna. And Naruto, watching this all go down, would immediately be like, alright, as he forms a bunch of shadow clones and he would just disappear. Nobody watched where Naruto went, and Sasuke wouldn't have even made a plan with Naruto. But Naruto would be thinking one thing, and that is, how am I gonna get Kakashi out of there? Finally, he decides to just pull a fast one on Zabuza. And so what Naruto ends up doing is pretty much making his way towards the direction of Tazuna after transforming invisible and immediately slamming his hand onto the water, thinking to himself, hopefully Kakashi handles this. And from here he would shoot electricity into the water, leading for the water's conductive properties to shock Zabuza and Kakashi, who would be inside of a water bottle, mind you. And so Kakashi and Zabuza both getting shocked would cause Zabuza to let go of the bubble and Kakashi to get released, only for him to finally get serious and him to tell Naruto, thanks for that. Naruto from here would make his way back towards the direction of dry land after using his webs to catapult himself back over there, and the second that the battle between Zabuza and Kakashi would begin, Naruto, who would be watching all of this go down, and once Kakashi would be about to end everything with a final blow to Zabuza and he sees a Senbon flying in at Zabuza, Naruto, watching this, sensing the danger, would immediately have his spider senses go off as he would look towards the direction of Haku and wonder to himself what in the world that person's doing there. Naruto immediately recognizing who would be there, and Haku coming out posing as some sort of recovery nin from the hidden mist village. Naruto, noticing this BS, would immediately say, can you prove it? And also, Why are you not taking him out here and now? I thought that's what you're recovering and were supposed to do. Haku would have a sweat drop at that moment, and from here would blitz at the direction of Zabuza as he would grab him and blitz off. Naruto wanting to continue on with the fight, but knowing that he's better not take that chance, considering that it's just himself and Sasuke who could only be the only ones there to fight, seeing as Kakashi is, well, out for the count. So yeah, for those of you wondering why Naruto didn't just bust out his wood style Sharingan and go crazy, that's why. He just didn't want to take his chances in case this ninja was even on par with Zabuza for some reason, right? Naruto watching them get away would end up just picking up Kakashi, as from here, Naruto just decides that they'll fight another day. And so they would make their way towards Tazuna's house. This leading them to meeting Inari and Tsunami, the mother of Inari and the daughter of Tazuna. Now once they get there, she would whip up the most delicious meal and they get down, they start grubbing, they have an amazing time. They all start conversating and everything, and they would just be having an awesome family dinner. Nothing could go wrong, everything's great. And then suddenly this brat comes in and ruins everything. Starts bad-mouthing Team 7, tells them that they have no right being there, and Naruto looks at him as, he's flipping up his fork in the air, just saying to himself, so we're not gonna beat them, are we? Well, my sensei over there who's knocked out just defeated one of Gato's upper-ranked men. I was there, and I could have easily have also helped them to take him out. And the guy you're describing to me, Gato, sounds like he's just some guy who has other people do his dirty work for him. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the only people who have tried to fight this guy off are weaklings. But don't worry, kid. You finally have somebody here who can actually put up a fight. Just flicking up the fork over and over and over, and Inari would have tears in his eyes after hearing that Naruto called his stepdad weak. He would go over to his room and cry, and Sakura would be like, Naruto, what were you thinking? With Naruto just saying the obvious, and him then looking back to Sasuke before saying, Sasuke, I need you to come with me. We need to start helping you out with your training. There's a couple of things that I need to teach you. And Sakura, as much as it pains me to actually help you out, you're the one that needs it the most, so come on. After they finish eating, Naruto goes on to teach them the secrets of tree walking and water walking, and so they would be ready for the upcoming battle. So when Kakashi would wake up, ultimately the main thing that he would be teaching Sakura would be a basic level Genjutsu and Shuriken Jutsu. Sasuke would be focusing on Taijutsu and also trying to push him to unlock his Sharingan, which he would be very close to doing, but it wouldn't exactly happen just because it just doesn't. I actually have no other way of putting it other than it just doesn't happen. Naruto, however, on the other hand, would be working on his wood style, trying to develop a new jutsu, a wooden dragon jutsu, which is something that Naruto has been trying to do, something that he knows is possible because Hiruzen has told him all about how Hashirama had all these incredible jutsus like wood dragons and wood golems and even a 1,000 hand Buddha statue with completely destroyed Madara, with him using Kurama and a Susanoo to cover it on top of that. So Naruto's aim is ultimately that for his ultimate jutsu, but since he can't do that quite yet, Naruto has to settle for something else. Continuing on the story, however, we're going to have a bit of a time skip to when we find ourselves at the actual bridge attack, and Naruto, for safekeeping, would end up leaving a couple shadow clones back with Inari and Tsunami, which would be easily capable of taking out the thugs that would arrive and try to do stuff to the family. However, Naruto's clones being there, it's just an easy one-sided stomp, and then we would find ourselves in the direction of the bridge battle, right? And because we find ourselves in the middle of the bridge battle, Naruto would be looking at Haku, as since he's here from the beginning, Sasuke and Naruto would both easily, being able to work on the combo moves that Naruto would have taught Sasuke, would both be having Haku on the back foot. Haku would not exactly be having an easy time fighting against the both of them, considering that they have both been working on tag team attacks. Naruto lunges forward, throwing Sasuke up, who would throw shuriken. Naruto immediately weaving hand styles for wood style attacks, which would pretty much shoot like these logs at the direction of Haku. But Haku, seeing that this person also has a strange Kiki Genkai, whips his out, creating the Ice Crystal Mirror Jutsu, which ultimately would trap the both of them inside of, and Sasuke being forced to keep up with the speed of Haku Haku ends up unlocking the one Tomoe Sharingan. Naruto, noticing that it's no time than now to whip it out, would whip out his own 2 and 3 Tomoe Sharingan, which would allow him to easily keep up with the maneuvers of Haku, ultimately jumping up into the air and deciding that it's now or never, as he slams his hand on the ground and says, "Sasuke, get down!" Sasuke goes down onto the ground right next to Naruto, and out of nowhere, wooden spikes would shoot out everywhere, killing Haku instantly, who as soon as Haku jumps out of one of the mirrors would get pierced by multiple different like splinters of wood, which would just completely cut into Haku and would basically put Haku in a t-shirt, all the way from ranging from extra small to extra large. So yeah, Haku, rest in peace, is dead. But continuing on with the story, we then find ourselves in the perspective of Kakashi, who would pierce Zabuza with the Chidori, and that would end up concluding the arc. Obviously, Gato and his men would arrive, but they would easily be handled by the village and Team 7, and ultimately Gato's riches would be handed over to the team of the Wave Village, ultimately naming it the Naruto Bridge and leading them out of poverty, with Naruto taking a little bit of a generous offering from Tazuna and the village, seeing as they were saved by Naruto, so the entire team was given a very handsome reward. They ultimately returned back to the village, only to realize that the Chunin exams are going to start. Now, why do they find this out? Because Naruto blabs about it, saying that it's about time that the Chunin exams come around and that the Chunin exams will be held soon. Kakashi would be basically asked by Sasuke if they're going to be allowed in, and Kakashi would say that he's still thinking about it. But considering Naruto's with them, they should most likely enter this year. They're ready in his eyes. But he would say that for the next week they're going to train just in case, and so that's what would happen. They report to Hiruzen, get their rewards, and then ultimately spend an entire week training, working on their team chemistry. Sakura would be mainly one of a healer, since Naruto would suggest that she would most better be used as a healer. And he would say that, you know, if anything, she should probably consider going down that route, since she's not really a capable fighter yet, saying that she should focus more on genjutsu, healing, and evasive maneuvers. And so that's what she does. She ends up working with Kakashi on every single thing that Naruto would have told her. And so Sasuke and Naruto would be the ones who would mainly focus on combat-like attacks, Naruto using his Sharingan and helping Sasuke train with his own, seeing as he already has developed his. That would lead Sasuke to developing a 2 Tomoe in one eye and 1 Tomoe in the other, leading them all to basically feel more than capable for the Chunin exams. And so once their ultimate small little test of seeing if they're actually ready would come along, they would easily pass, leading them into going on with the Chunin exams. Now the test happens, but nobody wants to hear about that, so we're going to be skipping over to the Forest of Death, where ultimately we find ourselves in the perspective of Naruto, who would be keeping a keen eye on the village on the village hidden in the grass. That ninja from that village seems very strange, and Naruto would tell Sasuke about this, telling him to, quote, "Keep your guard up, Sasuke." Sasuke would say, "Of course I will, dope." As from here, they make their way into the forest, and they would immediately try to look for somebody with a scroll, but they have ultimate bad luck. And so when Naruto goes off to pretty much see if he can find a team by himself, Team 7 would be getting ambushed by Orochimaru. However, Naruto, hearing trees breaking in the distance, would blitz over towards that direction, and he would arrive to see Sasuke getting bit by the Orochimaru at the curse mark. And when Naruto sees this, he gets enraged. Naruto's like, "Oh nah." And because he sees Sasuke on the ground, like, and Sasuke's like, "Ah!" You know, he's screaming in pain like never before. Naruto, actually having been created a bond with Sasuke, a small one, however small it is, would get very angry, seeing as the only person who's been spending a bunch of time with him has been Hiruzen and Sasuke. So Naruto blitzes in, having an entire one tail of Kurama's chakra activated, the Sharingan with his blonde hair, mind you, and then immediately weaving the hand signs for a wood dragon. A wood dragon would rush at the direction of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru, who would see that this kid has the Sharingan, the Nine Tails, and the ability of the Senju Hashirama, would get like bro literally gets bricked up on sight. Orochimaru has never been harder in his life, and he looks at Naruto and would be like, "Wait, is that?" And you know, he just watches the wood dragon come at him, and it hits him. Mind you, it does tons of damage, but Orochimaru substitutes the last second so it doesn't completely utterly destroy him. And then he lands looking at Naruto saying, "It worked." he must be a byproduct of the experiment. How in the world did he get his hands on that? And how did it end up working? By the time that I left that experiment, it was completely over with. Orochimaru would wonder what other abilities he has, and Naruto, noticing that Orochimaru can see him, would immediately get angry, shooting a web at the direction of Orochimaru's face, which he would easily dodge, but Naruto shoots more and more, and Orochimaru would think, spider. I didn't work on a spider, you know what I mean? Being like, I didn't do that. And Naruto doing that would shock Orochimaru, but he would go behind a tree, turn invisible, and then lunge at the direction of Orochimaru before then weaving hand styles for water jutsu. Water streaming jutsu, shooting a ton of water at the direction of Orochimaru. And by the way, I don't know if that's even an actual jutsu, but I just made it up. But basically, it's just a lot of water, not that much, but it's just enough to conduct electricity before then putting his hand in the water and then just completely shocking it, leading Orochimaru to get shocked and his real face to be uncovered, leading him to look at Naruto, lick his lips, and say, "My experiment worked. Sasuke was a thing of the past. You will be my new vessel." Rushing in at Naruto as Naruto rushes in at Orochimaru, and Orochimaru has full intent on taking Naruto with him today. We're talking spider abilities, going invisible, electricity, Senju, Uchiha. Like, Orochimaru has never been so happy in his life. Bro is basically a little kid at a candy store. That's when suddenly Anko comes flying in and would get side by side with Naruto saying, "Kid, get out of the way." Orochimaru, seeing Anko arrive, realizes that more ninjas are going to be arriving soon, and so would go away and then pretty much retreat into a tree, just disappearing using a strange jutsu, as he would look at Naruto and say, "Don't worry, Naruto, I'll be back. I'll be back." As he disappears, and Anko would hold at her curse mark before looking at Sasuke and realizing what happened. She would immediately look at Naruto and say that he's in grave danger if Orochimaru wants him, and Naruto would say that he's the one who's in danger for hurting his comrades, before then escorting the team back towards the Chunin tower, since they technically ended up taking the scroll that Orochimaru left behind. And so Sasuke would have a ritual performed on him, which would end up getting rid of the curse mark that was on him because of Kakashi's strange jutsu that would suppress it. Not getting rid of it, but suppress it, right? And so he would perform a strange jutsu, using his own blood, writing 1,000 seal marks, and then ultimately we find ourselves in a 2-day time skip, which all of the other teams would finally end up arriving, and then we have the 1v1 battles. This time, since Sasuke had more time to heal, he would easily be able to take out the ninja who can siphon chakra, and Naruto, having his new strange abilities, would be able to go and fight Kiba. Now, he would at first turn invisible, but Kiba, having a keen nose, would smell Naruto and know where to attack. Naruto, being shocked by that, would think to himself that, ain't no point in hurting Kiba if he doesn't have to. So what Naruto does is he would create a wood dome around Kiba, and the dome itself would start siphoning the chakra from Kiba, shocking Kiba, who would end up pretty much giving up due to the fact that his chakra would be almost all siphoned, and Naruto would be crowned as the winner. Kurina asking Kakashi how in the world that kid has access to that jutsu, and Kakashi saying that he has Senju cells inside of him. For one reason or another, that kid is magnificent. And she would say, "Interesting. Looks like you hit a jackpot, Kakashi. You always have been kind of lucky." Her then just looking back at the direction of the battle, Naruto going back up, looking at Hinata, who would offer him an ointment, and then ultimately being like, "Thanks, Hinata," before accepting it, and then moving on for the 1-month training arc. Now, this 1-month training arc would be filled with nothing but Naruto and Jiraiya training. Now, obviously the first week isn't that, and instead Naruto would train by himself. But once Jiraiya arrives and Naruto, knowing who this legendary Sannin member is, he immediately accepts his training. Naruto goes on to learn the Rasengan and summoning jutsu, not really focusing too much on Kurama's chakra, but wanting mainly to learn the Rasengan, seeing as, that's what his father had, and Naruto's not dumb. He knows that's definitely his father. After getting bit by the spider and becoming invisible, Naruto definitely would have ended up taking that invisibility and taking advantage of it. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean Naruto would have done a little bit of snooping in Hiruzen's office without him even noticing, and he definitely got his hands on a tad bit of information he wasn't supposed to. But ultimately, training with Jiraiya would be very fruitful, and Naruto would be more than ready to combat Neji Hyuga in the finals, right? Now, Naruto and Neji's fight would be the first one to start, and Naruto, understanding Neji's fighting style, would decide that he needs to fight him long range. Naruto does so in a very Spider-Man-esque way, because what Naruto would do is shoot a bunch of webs at the direction of Neji, just shooting web after web after web after web after web. And Neji would be getting tired, because he just has to parry and block and move out of the way. But eventually, Naruto lunges on top of the side of the wall crawls, and then would proceed to essentially shoot more and more webs at the direction of Neji, right? Now Neji would ultimately be put in a position where he can't move anymore, and Neji gets worried, so channeling his chakra, he would rip through the threads, but it would be too late. By then, Naruto was able to use a water jutsu, shooting it at Neji as he conducts electricity through it, and Neji would completely get taken out because of that. That jutsu was able to completely body Neji, and Neji had absolutely no answer for that. Neji got absolutely clapped as soon as he got hit with that, considering Neji doesn't have a high durability, seeing as, you know, we saw he lost to just one uppercut from Naruto. So obviously his durability isn't his best thing. But let's just say that he does survive for some miraculous reason, and then let's say that Naruto whips out the Rasengan and bing bang boom, Neji got eliminated easily from the Chunin exams. Continuing forward, we have the battle between Sasuke and Gaara, and that would pretty much end up going just like canon. Gaara runs away, Sasuke chases after him, Naruto chases after him, and during this time Hiruzen would unfortunately lose his life to Orochimaru. Naruto does still end up defeating Gaara, and Sasuke still does get very pressed because Naruto was the one who ultimately did that. Sasuke was not feeling too good after Naruto was the one responsible for doing that, and so he would be feeling some type of way. Let me tell y'all, Sasuke is not having a good day. Sasuke was not thinking that that was a hee hee ha ha moment. Sasuke was mad. But continuing on with the story, we then find ourselves in a bit of a strange predicament, because now there's no Hokage, and Naruto and Jiraiya are the ones who are going to be responsible for finding Tsunade and bringing her back to Konoha, right? And so they embark on their journey. However, this time, because Naruto doesn't have to learn more about the Rasengan, he actually gets the time to try to talk to Jiraiya about the Kyuubi, about what his father was like, and they actually bond way more than they would in the original, because Jiraiya would tell him that he actually trained his father, and Jiraiya would feel a lot more comfortable talking to Naruto, because this version of Naruto was more like a sponge. He would absorb information so easily that it would shock Jiraiya. But unfortunately, one day they make their way towards a village, and Jiraiya would get distracted by some random girl there. Now obviously that was done by Itachi using a genjutsu on that girl, getting him to distract Jiraiya and giving him precious intel on the Akatsuki. And so, because, you know, obviously Jiraiya is a spy, and Naruto would be by himself in the hotel room. Now Naruto by himself would have basically just been chilling, right? And we have this song playing in the background, and Naruto, you know, he was vibing, bro. Like, he was having a grand old time, you know what I mean? Just by himself in his room. But suddenly he hears knocks at the door. He's like, and Naruto's like, who's that? He immediately like puts his pants back up and goes towards the door, and Naruto opens it, and he would see two Sharingans staring right at him and a fish-like guy looking at him. Immediately, Naruto's like, oh hell nah, turning invisible and blitzing out through the window, with Itachi being shocked at the fact that Naruto escaped, but because he has the Sharingan, he could see his chakra paths, or actually, could he see invisibility, people? I'm gonna say that he could, because the Sharingan is kind of OP. So let's say that Itachi could see Naruto, and Naruto would end up trying to make his escape as fast as possible. Trying to alert Jiraiya of the situation, Naruto uses a grandiose jutsu which would definitely alert Jiraiya, and Jiraiya would make his way there, leading Itachi and Kisame to look at both Naruto and Jiraiya, who are on the rooftop with them. And Naruto says, "Your move, guys. Wood style, wood dragon jutsu." Immediately a dragon of wood rushes in at Itachi, who would be shocked that a genin could perform that kind of jutsu. Kisame cuts that dragon in half, and then Jiraiya would come flying with a massive Rasengan, leaving a dent on the top of the building, Naruto coming back in and shooting webs at the direction of Kisame's face, who has to rip it off, and by the time that he's done ripping it off, Naruto slams a Rasengan into his stomach, but like it just sends him back flying a bit, And then Kisame gets up and wipes blood off of his face as he's like, let's have some fun, kid. As anime fans, we love to show our support to our favorite shows by rocking anime apparel. But something I'm pretty sure we can all agree on is it's so expensive. So I've partnered up with Fandom to bring you all affordable, high quality anime merch that you are sure to love. And if you use my code Xehther at checkout, you can even get an extra 10% off the already affordable merch. Keep in mind, it does come from overseas sellers, so its sizing is going to be different since it's overseas. That said, let's get back into the video. Whatever, your move, Shark Man. Kisame looks to Naruto with a smile on his face and a big ol' smirk as he then rushes in at Naruto's direction and would say, I'm gonna show you why they call me the tailless tailed beast. Rushing in at Naruto, to which he would activate his Sharingan and barely dodge the blow from Kisame by the hair on his chinny chin chin. Naruto from here goes on to activate his invisibility mode, and so he jumps up into the air before then shooting two webs at Kisame, one at his arm and the other at his sword, before he then rips the both apart, and Naruto says, what you gonna do without your sword now, huh? As Kisame smirks and says, kid, you know, it would have been a lot faster if I got to cut you down, but now you're gonna die an even slower death. And Naruto would say, I'm all for it. I love to dance with death itself. Blitzing at the direction of Kisame, as Kisame would smirk, rushing in, and suddenly a gigantic barrier of Amaterasu flames would appear in between the both of them, making them both stop, with Itachi saying, Kisame, we have to retreat now. This is becoming too big of a thing, with Kisame saying, come on Itachi, you know we could handle them, and Itachi would say that Jiraiya is a lot stronger than he could ever imagine. And Kisame, looking at Jiraiya, would then grit his teeth before blitzing at his sword and saying, we'll meet again someday, kid, and when we do, I'll cut you down. Before Naruto says, sure thing, Shark Man, and so they would disappear, going off to flee from the incident, with Jiraiya then looking at the direction of Naruto and telling him that that was something, saying that not a lot of people would have been willing to fight against an Akatsuki member just like the way he just did, saying he's not sure if Naruto would have won that one, considering that Kisame is not at all something to be laughed at. If anything, he's probably one of the strongest members in the entirety of the Akatsuki. And Naruto says, you know, that might be true, but ain't nothing gonna happen if I'm not scared of him, right? And, you know, Jiraiya is just like, I guess, kid. Going on from this, he goes on to pay for what happened, and he would tell them to pretty much bill Konoha for the damages, before then going on to a different bar where it has been rumored that Tsunade has been going from time to time. And so Jiraiya and Naruto find themselves inside of this bar, only to then see a woman with blonde hair sitting towards the back, drunk out of her mind. Jiraiya then going over towards her and telling her to become the new Hokage. Just like in the original, she starts just instantly bad-mouthing all of the Hokage before her, and she would be like, they're all losers, you know what I mean? Naruto gritting his teeth in just complete anger, seeing as, you know, Hiruzen was his pretty much father figure, and he was the guy who trained him for all those years, and now he's dead. And her speaking bad about the Hokages is in essence her speaking bad about Hiruzen Sarutobi. And Naruto's not gonna let that slide. Naruto looks at her and says, take that back now. Old man Hiruzen was a better person than you'll ever be. He stayed by his village and didn't flee. He's not a coward like you, somebody who experienced war once and there it was never the same. I guess that's why they call you the legendary loser. Not only is your luck bad at life, but even in the way you speak. And Tsunade looks at Naruto, grits her teeth, smashes the table, and says, outside, kid. I got a bone to settle with you. And Naruto says, sure, anytime, any place. Making his way outside, Jiraiya pretty much just putting his hand over his face, being like, kid, you're always trying to fight people so much stronger than you. What is it with this kid? And Naruto, you know, he does not care. And so what would pretty much end up happening is Tsunade would tell him that since she knows he's gonna win and she's gonna win anyways, if he can just hit her once, then she'll admit that she was wrong and she'll go back and become Kage. But if he loses, then he has to pay off all of her debts. Naruto eagerly accepts this, saying that he's gonna win easily, and so he would immediately start the battle off by turning invisible, jumping up into the air, and shooting webs at the direction of Tsunade, which would completely throw her off guard. She's wondering where these webs came from. So suddenly, Naruto, in an Attack on Titan-like fashion, would shoot webs before thrusting himself forward at Tsunade and landing a powerful kick on the side of her head, sending her crashing down onto the ground. Tsunade getting up angrily, looking back at Naruto and saying, "Why you?" before rushing back in and trying to punch him with a full force blow that would almost connect had it not been for Naruto's spidey senses. Naruto dodges, weaves, and evades, going on to parry the attack and counterattack Tsunade in such a smooth way that Tsunade would wonder if Naruto's truly a genin at all. Suddenly, Naruto would say, "Wood style, wooden dragon," weaving hand signs so fast and shocking Tsunade, who would completely stand still at the mention of her grandfather's jutsu. She would let the jutsu hit her before getting sent flying back, and she would get completely knocked out from the shock and, just the stunning thing that just happened. Before, she looks at the direction of Naruto the next day when, they end up going over to see if she's okay, and she would say, "Did I imagine things, or did you just use my grandfather's jutsu?" And Naruto would say that she's not blind, that she saw everything correctly. Naruto is a wielder of the Senju, of Senju DNA, and also this, activating his Sharingan in front of Tsunade, as she would ask him how in the world he has those abilities. Naruto saying that he just got a bit lucky. And so Tsunade, looking at Naruto, would say, "Well, I guess you did, kid," before then going on to tell them about the plan to eliminate Orochimaru and how she was contemplating healing his arms in order for her loved one to be brought back, as well as her younger brother. And so she would tell Naruto that she believes in him and would tell him that tomorrow they're going to ambush Orochimaru together. Naruto, hearing the name of Orochimaru, would be just angry and gritting his teeth, knowing that that's the man who killed the sensei. Naruto has something to settle with Orochimaru, and Naruto's not going to be letting Orochimaru ruin the legacy of old man Hiruzen. He's not going to be letting somebody walk all over what Hiruzen stood for, what Hiruzen did as a person. Hiruzen was an honorable man, and even though he wasn't the best to him when he was growing up, that doesn't mean that Naruto doesn't respect and love him like a father. Naruto's gonna avenge Hiruzen here and now. And so we have a time skip to the next day when they're all getting ready to ambush Orochimaru. It starts, and Tsunade would try to use a jutsu to actually damage Orochimaru, but Kabuto gets in the way and would stop her from doing so instantly. Naruto, seeing this, blitzes in immediately using his invisibility and would land a full one-hit KO hit to Kabuto, slamming a very, very powerful ability into him, which is obviously going to be the Rasengan. And Naruto then says that Orochimaru's his, before then rushing at him, and Orochimaru would lick his lips, saying, "Perfect. I didn't expect to have my arms healed and have my new vessel in the same day. Perfect." Blitzing at Naruto, his tongue out as he swings it at him, and Naruto dodges before then going towards his kunai pouch and slicing off Orochimaru's tongue. Then looking at the direction of Jiraiya, who would tell him to stop, but Naruto was just completely bloodlusted. Turning invisible, activating his Sharingan before Naruto reads Orochimaru like a book and goes back in, trying to attack him with an electricity attack, which would completely miss considering Orochimaru is a lot faster than him, and Naruto, using his spider senses, would dodge a kick from Orochimaru, which would actually get caught by Jiraiya, who would tell him to back off, that his fight is with them now. And so Orochimaru would be backed up against the wall, having to face off against Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Naruto, who would be on top of Gamabunta's head alongside Jiraiya, and Naruto would say that he's not going to let him get away. But Orochimaru would say that this battle is for another time, before then trying to get away instantly, but Naruto was not having any of it. Naruto shooting a web at the direction of Orochimaru and holding onto it as he would go into the reverse summoned world of the Snake Sage Cave, seeing as Orochimaru would have reverse summoned himself to escape. And so Naruto, appearing there, would see Orochimaru and a bunch of snakes, and Orochimaru would say, "You made it too easy for me, kid. Now they're gonna eat you, but don't worry, because I'll be there to stop them." because I need your body for my future conquests. And Naruto says that he's not going to be taking nobody's body, and those snakes are not going to get in the way, because this fight is between he and him, and he's going to die today, or he's going to die trying to kill him. And so Orochimaru would smile before taking out the Kusanagi blade, and with his mouth, he would hold it before blitzing it at Naruto without his arms, mind you, and then rushing in, trying to pretty much try to defeat Naruto using that in his mouth, and creating jutsus that are very, very easy to create, right? Not only that, but he would have a bunch of the snakes rushing at Naruto, but Naruto doesn't care. Naruto puts them behind webs and would shoot more and more and more webs at Orochimaru, catching him off guard, blinding him slightly for a moment before Naruto comes in with a punch so hard that Orochimaru would feel as though almost his head would have almost been sent off his body from the strength. Orochimaru wondering how in the world this kid is so strong. It's almost as if he's channeling his chakra just like Tsunade, but he's not. It doesn't seem like the kid's doing that. Naruto from here weaves hand signs for a gigantic wood golem jutsu, and using a bunch of chakra, a gigantic golem would appear and begin to just absolutely demolish Orochimaru. Orochimaru, getting pummeled into the ground, would then have Naruto land on top of him, as he would ask, "Any last words?" And Orochimaru would say, "No, I don't. You are my greatest experiment, and I hope that you continue to live on, because I didn't get the chance to." Before Orochimaru tries to bite at Naruto to at least give him the curse mark so we can come back through that, but Naruto dodges it and proceeds to use a lightning jutsu at the head of Naruto, poking his hands in his eyes and making his eyes explode as Orochimaru's head completely blows up, and the snakes would look at Naruto as Manda slithers over and would tell Naruto that what he did was very much appreciated. He was one of the worst summoning contracts that they've ever gotten, and because he was willing to do that, they would offer him their own summoning contract. Naruto would say that he already has the toads, but they would say that they can offer him more power than those weak toads can ever muster. And Naruto, hearing that, would think to himself, "More power, eh? Looks like I did need more power when it came to that fish guy, and not to mention I probably would have lost to this guy if he had his full arms back. So, sure, how long is this power gonna take?" But what would pretty much be told to him is that it's probably going to take a year or two, considering they're going to be trying to teach him Snake Sage Mode. Naruto would be completely down for this, and so for the next year entirely, Naruto would spend his time at Ryuchi Cave, where he would end up learning Snake Sage Mode and completely abandoning the contract that he would have made with the toads. Naruto, using Snake Sage Mode, would end up beginning to get a lot more powerful, and he would begin getting way higher up in the ranks, to the point where Naruto would be just on a completely different level. By the time that Naruto returns to Konoha after that 1 year would pass, Naruto then goes on another separate training journey with Jiraiya, in which Naruto would spend that time learning how to wield the Rasen Shuriken. Considering that Naruto already knowing Sage Mode and being very proficient with his taijutsu, considering Hiruzen would have trained him for all those years, would be more than ahead of the one that we would have seen in Shippuden at the beginning, and so would be more than on the level of somebody like Pain. So this Naruto was already so busted. And so when the first mission that he would get when he officially returns to Konoha, to actually start doing missions, happens, and he's told that he needs to go and save Gaara and all that, he goes, and Naruto was not playing no games. Naruto wants to save Gaara, and not to mention, he would have also, kind of wanted to see that one girl again. What was her name again, he would think? Right, Temari. She was kind of cute, he would think. And so, making his way towards the village hidden in the sand, he would end up making it there, seeing Kankuro, and noticing that he was hit with poison. Naruto would be like, damn, how do I help this guy? Not knowing how, but ultimately Sakura would end up arriving minutes later, creating an antidote with the help of Lady Chiho, and then they would end up making their way towards the direction of where Sasori and Data are located. Immediately after this, they end up arriving, and Sakura, using her immense strength, would punch a hole in the cave, leading them to enter, and Naruto blocking off the entrance one more, using a thick layer of webs. which would stop Deidara from flying out using his clay. He would try to explode it, but Naruto just puts up more and more webs as the explosion would happen, and Deidara's bird would get caught in the clay before then exploding, and Naruto, before Deidara could register what happened, would have blitzed behind him, as Naruto would have smacked the back of Deidara's neck, completely knocking him out, using his abilities of like his reflexes, his chakra, his spider-like abilities and speed, easily getting behind him and activating Sage Mode for a brief second, as he would have chopped him in the neck, knocked Deidara out, and then all of their attention would have solely been focused on Sasori, who Naruto, not paying attention to Lady Chiho or anything, would blitz in using a shadow clone, mind you, and hit him with a Rasen Shuriken, which would completely eviscerate any chance or hope that the other team had for them having a potential chance to make it out of their situation. There was absolutely no hope for them, and Naruto wanted to make it known that they were not going to be getting out of here alive whatsoever. It was not gonna happen. Naruto, smiling after having all of this go down, would end up then looking at the direction of Kakashi, who would nod at Naruto and tell him that he's more than surpassed him by now. And Naruto would say, "Come on, Kakashi, you just noticed?" Before Kakashi would laugh, and from here they make their way back towards the village. You know, obviously Lady Chiho would sacrifice herself for Gaara, and once they return, Naruto would have a nice little talk with Temari, asking her out on a date, with Temari being like, "Oh, so you want to go out on a date with me? Ain't that something?" With Naruto saying, I feel like it's only right. I like you. I'm pretty sure you like me. I've seen you staring." Temari blushes a bit before Naruto tells her that, what does she say? And Temari would say she says yes, before then going on to look at Naruto, smiling, and they would then go out on a date. It would be a really nice one, and it would be on this time that Naruto ends up getting to 4th base. Naruto clears the inning, and Naruto ends up succeeding in the mission that many can all just dream of. Naruto succeeded in getting thine cheeks. But basically what ends up happening after this is that Naruto would end up going back to Konoha, where eventually the attack between the attack between Asuma and all of that would end up happening, and they call for reinforcement. Now, reinforcements do end up arriving this time before Asuma dies, in the form of Naruto Uzumaki, who, using his immense speed, not wanting any of his classmates to die, ends up arriving on the battlefield at the very last second and smashing an absolute insanely powerful Rasen Shuriken into the body of Kakazu, using Snake Sage Mode, as his aura of Sage Mode would go around him just like Mitsuki's, except his would be red. And so, blitzing in, he would go on and absolutely foderize Kakazu, before then looking at Hidan and telling him that he needs to release that jutsu now, or else he's not going to give him all of this money. And Hidan, looking at it, would say, "What does he care about money?" Naruto then, looking at Hidan, being completely angered, blitzing in, he would land a blow on Hidan that would completely knock him out. Now, everybody knows that Hidan is immortal, right? I'm pretty sure we all know that. But being immortal doesn't mean you can't get knocked out. So the second that he knocked Hidan out and he got him out of that circle, Hidan was completely incapable of making Asuma take all of the damage that he ended up taking himself, right? And so the connection between them both would be lost, and Asuma would never have to die this time around. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino would all be extremely happy with Naruto, and Ino would be especially happy, going on to really thank Naruto. And like the next time that they would be in the village, Ino walks over to him and offers him a free meal, right? They go out, they have a nice little friendly meal, just as friends, they're talking, they're asking each other questions, and Ino is saying that she's sorry for how things were in the academy back in the day. Naruto says that it's all good, that, back then he was kind of an annoying brat. And Ino giggles, saying, "Yeah, but now he's just changed, and Naruto's just," she would be like, "kind of hot." Naruto laughs at this and would be like, "Yeah, I guess." And keep in mind, Naruto and Temari are dating. But, one thing would lead to another between him and Ino, and they would find themselves playing Super Smash Bros. At Naruto's house. It's so random, but, I guess Ino just really likes Super Smash Bros. And, she was getting the work. But Naruto, after he does that, would end up telling Ino that, that can only be kind of like a one-time thing, which would be a lie considering that she would be a sneaky lick from now on. And now Naruto would be going out with Temari and Ino would be a thing in the background. Naruto, deciding that he doesn't want to keep hiding this for any much longer, would end up going into the Konoha Clan Restoration Act, where he's allowed to have multiple wives. And so he would be allowed to be with Temari and Ino because of that. And then later on in the series, somebody else is finally going to confess their love to him, which is going to be giving Naruto a grand total of at minimum 3 wives. Yes, sir. This is going to be one of those, what's the word for people when they have a bunch of wives? I forgot the name. Like they call it something, but I forgot what it was. But regardless, Naruto's gonna be harem. Naruto's gonna be having like a small harem, right? But basically, continuing forward with the story, eventually the pain attack would happen, and Naruto having access to Sage Mode and actually training as of this moment by a waterfall, Naruto senses a disturbance of chakra in the air, and so, using his abilities of the Sharingan, Naruto looks up to the sky to see a massive amount of chakra being gathered up into someone's eyes, and he would blitz over towards the direction of the Diva Path of Pain, before then saying, "You're not gonna do a thing to this village!" Blitzing at him before shooting a bunch of webs, and Pain would then be like, "Shinro tense," before Naruto punches him in the face and he would send him flying back. Pain then landing meters away and Naruto jumping on top of him, before then completely shocking Pain, the Diva Path of Pain, who would have his clothes like charred off and burnt, and then tell Naruto that what he's here to do is inevitable. But Naruto would say that with him there, nothing is inevitable. And so, suddenly out of nowhere, another character would appear right next to Naruto. This being Sasuke Uchiha, who would have never left the village and would look at Naruto and say, "Naruto, set me up." Naruto then looking at Sasuke, smirking and saying, "Sure thing, Sasuke," using the substitution jutsu to substitute with a clone and facing off against the Diva Path of Pain. Sage Mode activated and all, and he and Sasuke would both tag team all the Paths of Pain, which would end up arriving, and they make easy work of them, before suddenly the final Path of Pain would be there, and having a full 5-second countdown, Sasuke would say, "Kirin," before a gigantic lightning dragon would fall down onto Pain, and Obito, who would be watching, would come out of the shadows clapping, just being like, "Interesting, looks like you guys were able to defeat him, but I don't think you will be able to defeat Madara Uchiha." Then looking unto them and casting a Sharingan Genjutsu so powerful that Sasuke would be trapped inside of a world, breaking out instantly basically, but he would have been trapped. It would have been on some Itachi level stuff. Itachi would be right next to Obito, and it would be at this moment that Obito would tell Itachi to finally kill his brother. But Itachi's not having any of it, and Itachi finally would reveal to Sasuke that he's not actually evil, going into a Susanoo and trying to stab Obito with the Totsuka blade. Obito using his Kamui abilities and saying, "So it looks like you finally showed your true colors, Itachi of Konoha," and Itachi would say that it was about time after all, before then in starting a massive gigantic battle, which would take place like kind of far from Konoha, but not far enough to the point where damage won't be done. And so the battle would start. Sasuke using all of the basic abilities that he has, basically being on the level of the Sasuke who fought off against Deidara, so not that strong to keep up with Obito, but definitely able to provide support. Naruto, who would just be chilling in the background, right? Trying to mainly kind of assist Itachi, who would be guiding him through how to defeat the Kamui move. Naruto using all of this would end up then finally having a key player arrive, obviously being Kakashi, who using his Kamui ability, they would find out that it's linked. And because they find out it's linked, they would be able to start tagging Obito like crazy. Attacks would start actually landing, and Obito would be facing off against Kakashi in his Kamui dimension, while also having to fight off against Naruto, Sasuke, and Itachi on the outside. And I'm sorry to say it, but that combo of 4 people absolutely and utterly destroys Obito. Meaning that there is no need for the Sage of the 6 Paths to get involved, and that is instead going to be saved for a lot later down in the road, right? When Naruto finally ends up encountering Toneri. Hagoromo obviously intervening, giving Naruto the abilities of both the path, the good path, and the bad path of the chakra, and so Naruto would become the strongest in the series, ultimately being able to protect his village and being able to restore both the Uzumaki and the Namikaze clan. it would be a huge thing. And there would be Uzumaki, Namikaze, Hyuga babies, and like even whatever clan it is that Tamari belongs to, as well as Ino, I forgot her last name, but I know she belongs to a kind of important clan. So Naruto, not only does he start a new era of that, but Naruto gets down and crazy, and he becomes the Hokage later on, going on to use shadow clones instead of what he used to use. And finally, this would be the conclusion to What If Naruto was Miles Morales. If you guys enjoyed this part and you guys want to see more Naruto What Ifs, make sure to check out my upcoming What If Naruto was the lightning god, aka What If Naruto ate the Goro Goro no Mi, which is the fruit that Eneru eats in One Piece. And also make sure you guys check out the video titled What If Deku Was Levi, seeing as it ended up getting a poor amount of views. And so if you guys wanted to continue, go check it out again, maybe leave a like or something, and go check it out. It's actually a really good video, so I'd mean a lot if you guys were to go check it out. That said though, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys making it to the end of this What If. Nothing but love from me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.